Hello again, happy Friday. I wanted to continue my last session about new features in Digma, and today I'm going to be talking about some new insights. But before I dive into that, I just want to mention this really cool features that we've just added that's more about the UI, but will actually help me in this presentation. So this is a part of a UI revolution that we're brewing, and this is maybe a first tiny step. And what you'll notice in the assets page is a new filters button. If I click this button, you can see that I can now filter not only by services, but also by endpoints. So I can see all of the assets related to a specific endpoint that I'm exploring, including database queries, code locations, and so on. Or I can look at specific insights and see where they've been found. And this is a great way to see which insights Digma found and which assets are related to them. So for this, we're going to select one of the new insights, and we're going to start with the query optimization insight. As soon as I click on that, you'll see that only the related assets are highlighted, and we can see we have one database query. And I can click on that to see what that means. And it looks like the query optimization insight is telling me that this query is slow compared to other select requests on this same database. And in this case, it's maybe rather dramatic, with the duration being up to 174 seconds, 1 minute and 74 seconds, which is quite a lot, especially since the average duration is around 300 milliseconds, which is also quite a lot. But I've been working with a large database and trying to simulate real-world conditions. And this is useful in telling me exactly what is this, or to find exactly which queries are maybe more problematic as I'm developing and even before I push them into production. And of course, they can tell me the same information about staging, CI, and production code. Now, if I want to see an example trace or get the Jira ticket info, of course, that functionality is also available. The next insight I want to show you is called the Code Nexus insight. And if you're wondering to yourself, what the hell is a code nexus? Then maybe this next feature will also allow you to understand that a little bit better. Because the other thing that we've added was the ability to see some information explaining what an insight is. So for example, here next to the code nexus, you'll see a little information icon. And I know some of you think that this was long overdue. So happy to oblige, even though belatedly. And if I hover over this kind of info button, I can see more information about what this insight is. So I can see a code nexus or places in the code that have a high number of runtime dependencies. This is calculated by the number of flows, endpoints, and services depending on this piece of code. And of course, this is normalized according to your application. So if you're running a mega complex microservices application, will highlight these specific points that are far more sensitive in terms of being a focal point for your code. And what it means for a developer is that this is somewhere that you should be a little bit more watchful and maybe test all of the different dependencies before you roll out your changes. The last query I wanted to show you is also new and being tested right now. And that's the high number of queries insight. And for that, I'm going to switch over to a different project. And again, I'm going to filter specifically for the service that I'm interested in. And then I'm going to select the high number of queries insights. And we can see we have one endpoint that is actually exhibiting this particular problem. And what this insight tells me is that there is a abnormally high number of queries on this endpoint related to other endpoints in the same service. So in this microservice, the typical number of queries would be 13, and here I have a whopping 205. And this serves to kind of check for me that I haven't created an issue inadvertently, maybe by using some libraries or abstraction code that I didn't even know was making queries behind the scenes, which is what is happening here. That's it. So I hope you enjoyed this short preview. I have more things to show you, so I'll probably postpone that to next week. For now, let me know what you think of these new insights, and also, more importantly, if you spot them in the wild. Thank you and have a great weekend.